Devils Wednesday. This is the Woo Report. The Woo Report. Morning Woo edition. Back in action. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network as the Devils are going to take on the Detroit Red Wings tonight. We've got an action-packed quadruple header Wednesday for your Devils fix. Hello, everybody. I see everybody in the YouTube Live, Facebook Live on this early Wednesday morning, November 22nd, as we're talking some puck, some Devils hockey, and you know what? I'm excited for the next few days because there's a lot of New Jersey Devils hockey action starting tonight in Detroit. As I said before, then the Devils played the BJs on Black Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern start. Beer Baron, also known as N Crew, will be at American Whiskey Friday, Black Friday, when the Devils take on the BJs. Then Saturday, I'll be at American Whiskey. Special guests, Rebecca Morse and Tara Hoffman, former NWHL and PHF players, going to be with me at American Whiskey. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be an amazing time. And just remember, this podcast and all of our events is presented by Ann Crew Brew. Ann Crew Brew make winning memories together, one crew at a time. Yeah, beer for breakfast, right? Anyway, Peter Seifert, I saw your comment yesterday. He likes my New York accent, so, you know. Anyway, I also have a Boston accent as well. Anytime I talk to Paul Marino, I always ask him, where are you going to park the car? Is it by the harbor? Anyway, so I'm reading some of the comments here, but let's talk about the topic at hand, because last night I wasn't able to do a Woo Report. I was a little tired. I was a little under the weather. It was a stormy weather last night, which has nothing to do why I didn't do the podcast, but I figured a morning Woo would be in order. Me being a little bit more energized after my latest rant, the podcast before of Random Thoughts. If you haven't listened to that podcast, go to our Apple and Google podcast pages or any of our social media pages. But yes, so Nico Hischier practicing, will travel with the team, but it's not going to play. But he's inching closer to rejoining the team on the ice and play some games. I mean, the Devils need Nico Hischier back. I think seeing Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier go down was an eye-opening experience. We kind of expected it. But the Devils, right now, at this point, they need to learn how to play some defense. But they're going to need some offense right now, concurrently, in order to mask their defensive flaws. And we were talking about this, and I was kind of harping on Dougie Hamilton, because you've got, and I'm talking from a salary cap financial standpoint, you've got a $9 million a year player that's on the blue line that's taking 1 out of 6 spots, and it's such a liability on defense. I know his offensive capabilities. We're well aware of what Dougie Hamilton can bring in the locker room and offensively. But the problem is really defensively. And I think having a Selke award-winning type player like Nico Hischier, someone that's always in the running, I guess, for the last couple of years for that Selke award, having Nico Hischier helps tremendously because it puts a lot of stress off of Mikey McLeod having to play the top line when Mikey McLeod should be with his brothers on the fourth line. And I think Nico Hischier is going to have a great impact when he comes back to play for your New Jersey Devils. But right now, they're going to play the Red Wings tonight. Again, Game Day Live, special time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. Then we're going to have State of the Fan Address, which is normally at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, is going to go from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern tonight. So you're going to get a double punch of podcasts, live podcasts, before the game as you're chowing down and drinking Crew Brew before the game. And then you've got the game, and then we've got Devils After Dark after the game. So the next few days is just going to be awesome of Devils hockey in the midst as we are really getting into the holiday season. NY Davey says, please do your audience a favor and explain what we mean by beefalytics. People don't remember or weren't alive when late 1980s teams played. Review the offensive productions and the PIMs, says NY Davey. It was a different game back then. Rules were different. A lot of clutching and grabbing. But back in those days, before Gary Bettman started to meddle into the rules like an attorney would, there was an unwritten code. The players policed themselves. The players made sure that there was respect on the ice. I'm not a big fan of the staged fighting back in the day. But I was a big fan of the emotion, the raw emotion, the will to win, doing whatever it takes to win. That's beefalytics. And I'll talk about beefalytics with Rebecca Morse because she and I have had some great conversations about hockey grit, doing what it takes. You've heard of the stories of Patrice Bergeron, collapsed lung, broken ribs, I don't know, something wrong with his knee, shoulder, whatever, but he still played 25, 30 minutes out on the ice. NY Davies said toughness, tenacity, edge to their play. And that's what the Devils need right now. I think as a lightweight, Jack Hughes has some beefalytics. But you can't expect Jack Hughes to go against guys like Matthew Tkachuk or Jesper Bratt. But Jesper Bratt, we've seen do some damage. Shouldn't say that. Get in the mix. And Payton says Dougie can't spell grit. And that's what I'm saying. You need to have grit on your defense. That's part of the problem. Also, what's part of the problem is they're taking too many risky plays. I know it's Lindy Ruff's system, but you got to have support. If you're going to pinch in offensively, you've got to have one of the forwards back because you're going to be a liability on defense if you don't get back in time. And back checking needs to be a priority. Andre Palat back checks, but when you see Dougie Hamilton get caught, even maybe John Marino sometimes, you need to have the support back because if the puck's going the other way, you've got an odd man rush. And also, there was a comment, I forgot who wrote this in the YouTube live about Dougie Hamilton, that Dougie Hamilton got replaced by a rookie on the power play. And Dougie Hamilton needs to step it up. I like Dougie Hamilton. I'm not going to say that I don't like Dougie Hamilton. But at $9 million a year, you need to be part of the solution on that defense, especially when you're a defenseman. That's all I'm saying. But they got to play like junkyard dogs, is what Jack Hughes referenced when he lost his tooth in the playoffs. Junkyard dogs. That's what they have to. They have to have that mindset. They're too passive at times. But getting Nico Hischier back will be the first step. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that defense specifically. All right, so I'm going to say something a little controversial, a little hot take here about Sergei Brylin being inducted in the Ring of Honor. The only other person inducted was John McMullen, the original owner, the one that brought the New Jersey Devils franchise to New Jersey against all odds and had so many obstacles, having to deal with the New York Rangers, hating the New York Rangers, the finances that are involved, the disputes with the Meadowlands, the NJSCA, which, by the way, we will have a big tailgate as a kind of a fan appreciation day for you, the fans, at the outdoor game on February 17th. Just want to drop that in there. We're going to start having some details very soon. But just to let you know, we will have a gigantic tailgate, and we're partnering up with a couple people or a couple companies to do this. But, yeah, so getting back to the Ring of Honor, which I think it's deserved for the amount of years of service and loyalty of Sergei Brylin as a player, as a coach, and all that. Saw the press release, 30 years, 3 cups. Sergei Brylin, I believe he was a rookie in 95. I think he scored in the Stanley Cup Finals as well. I think it was Game 3, if I'm not mistaken, or it was a Game 4. It was a long time ago. But I would have done things differently if I was running the New Jersey Devils. Not saying that Sergei Brylin does not deserve the Ring of Honor. I think he deserves something even better. I think Sergei Brylin needs to have his jersey retired. And the second inductee, and I know I'm biased, of the Ring of Honor should be Chico Resch. Chico Resch is an original Devil. Remember that. When he came to New Jersey, he promoted New Jersey, trying to get some of the other players to sign on, like Gary Howitt. Because when Chico Resch was a New Jersey Devil from the start, it was a brand new franchise in this area that was saturated with hockey. Remember, you had New York Rangers, New York Islanders, the Flyers, the Whalers. I believe the Whalers were in around that era as well. And Chico Resch, good friend of the podcast, was there for the first 5 years. Then came back as a broadcaster for Sports Channel, I believe. Then it was Fox Sports. Then it was MSG. And now he's on Devils Hockey Network, still going strong. I think he's 76 right now. Is that how old Chico is? Shouldn't even mention his age. But Chico Resch and his time with the New Jersey Devils should also be looked at as well, because a lot of us grew up watching Chico, listening to Chico Resch after his playing days. And that's something to be thought of. And I'm not want to take away Sergei Brylin and the Ring of Honor. I just think that he should have gotten his jersey retired. Sergei Brylin was the quintessential New Jersey Devil. You know, back in the day, the media, the press, they called the Devils a team that had interchangeable parts. You could put Sergei Brylin anywhere on the ice. First line, fourth line, checking line. Remember that checking line, Madden, Pandolfo, and Brylin? They took care of business against elite top lines in an era where they used to just hit you. M. Payne says, is there a reason Chico is not the color commentator on MSG? I love Dano, but Chico is 100 times better. I don't really know, to be honest. But the fact of the matter is, TV, radio is a business. And, the travel schedule, all that kind of stuff, I don't really know. Some producers have their favorites. Some producers don't. But either way, you've got both of them. Ken Danico on MSG and Chico Resch on the Devils Hockey Network. NY Davey says, don't forget Bobby Holik. Yes, Bobby Holik, but he did go to the Rangers, didn't he? Again, the Ring of Honor, there's going to be 2 inductees, John McMullen and Sergei Brylin. I just think that they have to look at Chico Resch for the Ring of Honor. And I'll be there January 20th for Sergei Brylin, but I really think he should have his jersey retired, the rafters, because you don't have to be a Hall of Fame player to get your jersey retired, hence Ken Danico. But Sergei Brylin, is probably the most underappreciated, underrated New Jersey Devil of all time. He shut down lines night in and night out with his teammates. And, again, you can put him anywhere. Power play, penalty kill, third line, checking line, fourth line, first line if there's an injury, second line as well. Always played the game the right way. And I remember hearing a story, Sergei Brylin coming from Russia, that they used to have to reuse hockey tape on their equipment when he played. And then when he came to North America to play, things were a lot different. And I'm sure we're going to hear about those stories as well, as, we get closer to January 20th, Sergei Brylin night, as he gets inducted in to the Ring of Honor. But I just want to say, put it out there, New Jersey Devils, I think Chico Resch really needs to get a hard look at, because he's done so much for the organization, both on and off the ice, and is an original Devil. And I think it would be a great honor to honor Chico Resch at some point. But Sergei Brylin to be inducted in the Ring of Honor, which I think is great. But I have my opinion about that. I think he should have his jersey retired instead. All right, well, that's it for now. This is the first part of a quadruple header. Wednesday. Again, Game Day Live, 5:30 p.m. Eastern start. Then State of the Fan address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com from 6 to 7 instead of 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Plus Devils After Dark after the game. We're going to have a lot of action in the next few days. Loving Devils hockey. Thank you for all the comments on this morning Woo edition of the Woo Report. It's going to be a great time. And I hope to see you at American Whiskey this Saturday. I know Beer Baron's going to be there Friday, but this Saturday at American Whiskey, got special guests Rebecca Morse and Tara Hoffman, who played in the NWHL and PHF, will be live at American Whiskey on Saturday with me before the Devils take on the Buffalo Sabres. I'll be actually going into the game. Sit with our good friend, Paul Marino, John Marino's dad. Peter Seaford says, are you going to be there December 1st? Dinner at AW. I will get back to you on that. I don't think that far ahead, Peter. But January 6th, Peter, January 6th, I will tell you, you got to mark the calendar, okay? To go along with the theme of the night, and we'll be celebrating my cultural heritage on that night. We're going to have Rangers Suck Fortune Cookie giveaway at American Whiskey for Game Day Live on January 6th. That one you want to mark on your calendar. Limited edition Rangers Suck Fortune Cookies. All right. Well, anyway, thank you to all those tuning in. Have a wonderful day. See you in, I don't know, 10 hours from now? Is it 10 hours? 5 hours? Anyway. So, I'll get back to you, Peter, on December 1st. Till next time, this is the Woo Report. Let's go, Devils.